Hello everyone, this is Cobalt. This is the next video in my character analysis series for Brawlhalla. Stick around till the end to hear about entering the giveaway to win community colors, emotes, weapon skins, sidekicks, avatars, or even the battle pass, and voting for the next legends. And if you want to skip all this and get straight into the information, there's a timestamp in the description, and don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up with the release of your favorite legend. In these analyses, I wanted to focus solely on the character's signatures. Light attack combos are covered much more in depth than I ever could elsewhere and function pseudo-comparably for all characters of that weapon class. So I'm not going to be discussing the general neutral of the character with their weapons unless it pertains in some way to their signatures. Firstly, I want to give clear descriptions of the terminology I'll be using. Startup frames are the amount of frames that happen after a move has begun until the first hitbox of the move becomes active. Active frames are the duration of frames that the move contains hitboxes that can collide with your opponent. FAF, or First Actionable Frame, is the first frame available where your character is able to move again after the move has been started. For all of this data, I use the character's jump to display the first actionable frame. Lastly, On Miss refers to the move not connecting with an opponent, and On Hit refers to the move making contact with an opponent. I'm going to be doing my analysis today on the next voted in legend.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
Sorry about that. I'll be doing my analysis today on the next voted in legend, Xull. And look, I know that there's a difference between orcs and ogres, but I really couldn't pass up the opportunity. Anyway, Xull was a commander of the Iron Legion. He rode T-Rexes into battle, slinging his steel trap around. He became rich from his time in the Iron Legion, offering people to join with him if they could survive the beating that he gave them. The only person he ever lost a fight to was Jala, after which he switched sides per their agreement. Xull's weapons are axe and cannon. He's seen solid competitive results recently, especially in 2s. Thanks to the axe reworks and cannon buffs, he has seen proficient improvements to his former iteration, as well as a character redesign. Xull has an incredible amount of power, with an enormous 9 attack which can be maxed out if you spec into it. He's got 9 dexterity, 5 defense, and 4 speed. It's pretty obvious that his character design is meant to be a heavy-hitting ball of destruction, covering 2 of the heavy hitters in the same week, I suppose. So, is it his SIGs that make him so terrifying, or is that massive amount of power that makes him a threat? Well, let's find out. Let's start with his axe. Axe side SIG has 18 frames of startup, active frames from 19 to 27 with an FAF of 54. It functions differently on miss than it does on hit. Should the move connect, it functions as a command grab with a new FAF of 89. Xull charges forward brandishing his axe. If the charge connects, Xull grabs his opponent, slings them around like a ragdoll, slamming them into the ground before slinging his axe at them, sending them flying in the opposite direction. This SIG can be extended, so Xull continues to run for quite a while if you choose to. It has good coverage in front of him, but it does have an inherent risk since the hitboxes fail to provide a significant disjoint to protect him, which means it can be beaten out by any other ranged attacks or weapon throws, but it serves as an excellent punish option. Axe neutral SIG has 25 frames of startup, active frames from 26 to 33 with an FAF of 54. It functions the same on miss as it does on hit. Xull jumps upwards before swinging his axe forward with a massive slice. This SIG has a fair bit of startup thanks to the travel distance in the initial jump, and the swing has just a few active frames, but the swing can be delayed, which is beneficial since it can bait a dodge or a panic jump, which it can still connect with. It has about average FAF, and it's a pretty solid SIG in my opinion thanks to Xull's insane power. It's a very scary SIG to try and contest. It catches jumps incredibly well as opponents trying to recover high from ledge. This SIG for me is probably the most satisfying SIG to land on Xull's kit. The hit is just so beefy and it hits so hard, it's just really fun. And it's one of 2 SIGs on his whole kit that isn't a command grab. Got some solid coverage on it. It's a good SIG. Axe down SIG has 20 frames of startup, active frames from 21 to 33 with an FAF of 60. Should the move connect, it functions as a command grab with a new FAF of 96. Xull tosses a large bear trap out in front of him. If the move connects, the bear trap snaps shut, sucking the opponents in, and he swings his axe at them, sending them skyrocketing forward. This move has quite a bit of a disjointed range, and it has astronomical power. It's good for ledge trapping as well as punishing whiffed attacks. It's got average frame data in all regards, but it's still a solid SIG thanks to its range. Next up is his cannon. Cannon side SIG has 20 frames of startup, active frames from 21 to 38 with an FAF of 58. It functions differently on miss than it does on hit. Should the move connect, it functions as a command grab with a new FAF of 68. Xull charges forward with his cannon outstretched in front of him. If the move connects, his cannon shoots his opponent away from him with a giant burst. This move is comparable in terms of range to his side SIG on axe, and thanks to its comparable frame data, it also yields the same weaknesses and flaws. It's weak to disjoints and ranged hitboxes, but it has insane power and is really effective as a punish option, so it definitely has its utility. And the threat of power that this move has is enough to put fear in the opponent pretty readily. Cannon neutral SIG has 18 frames of startup, active frames from 19 to 31 with an FAF of 57. It functions differently on miss than it does on hit. Should the move connect, it functions as a command grab with a new FAF of 91. Xull tosses his bear trap into the air to grab an opponent. If the hit doesn't connect on the upward throw, the steel trap sits on the ground for a long period of time, providing active lingering hitboxes. If the move connects, Xull blasts the opponent forward with his cannon. This SIG has some excellent coverage, and the lingering hitboxes provide Xull some very unique options for edge guarding as well as ledge trapping. Cannon down SIG has 20 frames of startup, active frames from 21 to 33 with an FAF of 55. It functions the same on miss as it does on hit. The only other SIG on his kit that's not a command grab aside from axe neutral SIG, Xull slams his cannon into the ground, generating either 1, 2, or 3 fire eruptions in front of him on the ground depending on how long it's charged for. The longer the move is held for, the longer the startup and the FAF are, and the active frames vary, but the minimum startup time is 20 frames, which is about average. Even the single burst is good for coverage immediately in front of him, capable of catching jumping opponents as well as grounded ones. It's an excellent SIG at edge guarding as well thanks to the hitboxes that have potential to extend past the ledge if charged up further. Very interesting SIG with some good utility. So overall, his SIGs are very unique, with 4 command grabs amongst his 6 SIGs. His absolutely enormous power makes him terrifying to fight against since any stray hit could knock you out. His frame data is about average, I'd say, and the hitboxes on his side SIGs leave a bit to be desired thanks to their small range, but the coverage that they offer is good and they work effectively as punish options, though this may be their limited utility. His neutral SIGs on both of his weapons are pretty good, and my personal favorites, with Axe covering jumps quite well and Cannon providing additional utility in the lingering hitbox it provides if it's charged. Xull has made some big waves in the scene, and his cannon strings after the patch update became incredibly effective thanks to his insane power. The utility that his SIGs offer are decent coverage, though slightly limited at times. I think we're going to continue to see good results with him, thanks to the neutral on his weapons and crazy damage output. Today's code to put down in the comments is Shrek, along with your Twitter handle. Tune in tomorrow for coverage on the next highest voted legend from this week. Comment to vote for next week's 5 legends. Tomorrow is the final video of the week, so to be sure to get all your entries and votes in. I'll be continuing this once a day, Monday through Friday, over the next 10 weeks until all 50 legends are covered. So thanks for joining me on this ride. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the release of your favorite legend, and hope to see you back for the next one. Once again, I'm Cobalt, and thanks for watching.